Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Hope everyone is doing all right. Okay, let's get this show on the road here, everybody. Okay. Beat Butcher, let's get this show on the road, man. So, about to do this. 9 o'clock, 12-bit soul, Beat Butcher. Let's get it.
Yep.
What up, man?
What's goody, bruv? How you doing?
Oh, man. You know the deal. Just trying to get it in. Yeah, just I was putting some last minute stuff together, man. I kind of geek out from about 8:30 to 9 o'clock my time, and I'm like, okay, I think I forgot something, so I'll go. And yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I got a couple little surprises. We'll see what we can do, but yeah, man, what's going on your end? Why don't we get into it? Because here's the deal. Last week when we were on with with Nick with Beat Nick D, uh,
Yep.
IG has a tendency of turning the lights out
Yeah, I saw
after an
that.
hour.
Yeah,
you
I was
know?
tuned in. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So it's like you don't have to go home; you just have to get the hell off of here. So, yeah, it was good times. So I don't want anyone to think like we didn't pay our bills or anything like that. It was just
No, it just kicks you off after an hour. I know.
it does, man. It's the joys of technology and stuff. But yeah, man, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit to the folks, some of the folks who don't know you. And the people that do, tell them who you are, man.
Shit. Yeah. So, I'm Beat Butcher, a producer and sound designer from the UK, but currently based in LA. Been busy for about 20 years. Started off in the UK hip hop scene and the grime scene, and then yeah, more recently, last 10 years, the US scene, working with anyone from G-Unit and Mobb Deep to Griselda, um, the Carters, Party Next Door. Yeah, so yeah, that's
No, you got a couple records, man. I had to laugh when you sent over the when I asked you. I'm like, send over, and I know I was kind of lazy assing it. I'm like, man, send over the discography.
yeah,
And I'm like, and I kept scrolling, bro. And I'm like, when is this fucking thing gonna end? And
yeah.
and I was just kind of laughing because it's comprehensive, dude. Like it covers a lot of ground. So I was looking back to some of the stuff you did in the UK, and I know you hail from the UK, but your pops from what?
No, I,
Spanish.
no, no. I lived in this. I lived in the Netherlands for part of my childhood.
Okay, that was it.
Neither of my parents actually from the Netherlands, but yeah, I lived over there for a bit.
Oh, how was that experience, man?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, shit, it's the same thing. In every country, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. You can get into the same shit anywhere you go. I mean, let's just
absolutely.
let's face
No,
it. But
I got a lot of love for the Netherlands though, and I got a lot of love for the UK and States and that. You know what I'm saying? So.
no, that's what's up, man. But yeah, talk about that, man, because I didn't know the production resume went back to was it 04, 02, 04? I mean, where you were
Yeah,
really starting to
2002
get
with.
up and running.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of started off DJing, and somehow kind of gravitated towards making beats and stuff, and um, yeah, it was pretty quick that I started to like produce for different people, and I guess my kind of first thing was with a group called Paragon, and who any UK people that are like logged in, they probably would remember Paragon from the early days of Channel U and Channel AKA, which is like a Sky channel, which had all like the UK, the early like the 2000s UK stuff on it. But yeah, man, I mean, shit. Like I said, I started off kind of doing stuff in the UK scene, and I've always been a fan of American rap, and yeah, I don't know, a few things. I got disillusioned with the scene over there, and kind of yeah, just ended up trying to go for my dreams out here. Do you know what I mean?
Well, no, and that's the thing. Like a lot of, I remember when you were still in the UK, we were just hitting each other DM, and then you're like, yo,
Yeah,
I'm hitting the States, man. I was like, that's what's up. Cause so now you've been in LA 2 years now?
yeah, 2 years. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it takes a long time. Obviously, anybody that's tried to immigrate over to a different country knows it takes a little minute, and especially when you know, um, music is when you're working for yourself or whatever, and you might not have had any sort of hits or anything. It's harder to prove that you're, somebody worth them letting in to the country or whatever. But it took a little minute, and I managed to get my green card a couple of years ago, and then shit, I've been out here ever since. It's been a dream for a long time. I've been working on it for
No,
15 years or
congrats,
something,
man.
15
Congrats.
years or something stupid like that.
Hey, but the fact that you're doing it, you're making it happen. I mean, that's inspiration to enough people, because let's face it, a lot of people have whatever the dream may be. It could be music, it could be some, dream profession they had as a kid, whatever. But the fact that you're manifesting it is,
Yeah,
says a lot about what you're doing.
it feels great, man. Because I think like I'm sure you can relate to this. I mean, everybody always tells you, this isn't a job to, you can't,
Yeah.
it's not a sustainable career, and it's so hard and all this. But you know what I mean? Once you stop listening to those people and
Yeah.
work and put your efforts in,
Well, because it's
you know,
always the people that say you can't do it that aren't doing it.
yeah, absolutely.
Whatever, and it doesn't matter what profession they're in. They're oftentimes just miserable, and they just kind of want to, kind of be that crab in the barrel. So that's why I'm saying. So I know you've been, definitely doing it. Like I said, an inspiration to a lot of cats, man. But so talk about like some of your early influences, man. So you had to be sampling back in the day. You had to be digging
Oh
in the
yeah,
crates
Oh yeah,
before.
for sure. I mean, God, I've got the same influence as everybody has in the early days. I mean, like, Mobb Deep, Wu-Tang, producer wise, obviously RZA, Havoc, Pete Rock, Premier, um, and then kind of later on, obviously, Just Blaze, Alchemist, Jake One, you know what I mean, Khalil. Um, Yeah, I mean, I've always been a music fan from very young. Like both my parents are kind of into music. My dad's got a very eclectic taste in music, so I kind of run after him. Not to say that like I've got the same taste in music as he has, but I definitely have a bit of an eclectic taste in music. And I got into hip hop pretty young, man. I would have been about 8 or something like that when I was really started to get into it, like 7, 8. And yeah, man, just like I said, started off DJing and then kind of graduated onto the beats. And
Well, and that was the thing too, man. You
yeah,
talk, and the reason I bring up the crates and you sampling and that kind of getting that bass is because when I hear your music, and I
mm,
know you're super adamant to talk about, I'm not using samples and this and that,
yeah,
but it you and I don't know what it is, dude, but you have a knack, a gift of making your production sound like it's sample based. So kind of dive into that, man. How do you make that happen?
shit, man. I mean, obviously it's no secret. I mean, if you sample and you're trying to get placements and stuff and trying to make money, the business side of that is not necessarily that lucrative. So I kind of started to think about doing played elements in tracks like probably like 10 years ago, maybe longer, 15 years ago. And I don't know, man. I just always wanted to make shit that sounded like the records that I was sampling. I feel like, or give that texture of real music. Not to say that there's different styles or whatever, but that's obviously what I gravitate towards because that's the stuff
Right.
that we grew up on. And shit, I mean, I couldn't really tell you exactly what. There isn't like a magic way of doing it. It's just, I guess, using your ear. You know what I mean? I use like plugins and I use hardware at the same time. So it's like, I guess it's having studied the music, like the older kind of music, and seeing what they, looking at like the kind of equipment that they were using and trying to kind of emulate that, whether in plugins or whether in, hardware, if you know what I mean.
Well, and that's the thing too. You got to kind of speak on that a bit too. You talk about the plug-in game, but you're
Yeah.
also a bit of a multi-instrumentalist too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the greatest musician by any means. I mean, I couldn't sit there and give you a concert like on guitar or the keys or whatever, but I do pride myself at being able to get a take out of pretty much anything. Like I feel like if you left me alone with an instrument, I could get I could get a take of something that sounds decent for a minute. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Which I think honestly most people could do, and it's just just like sticking with it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
having an imagination to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's put it this way. I know if you had to stick me in the room with a guitar right now, I don't exactly know what it would sound like coming out, but yeah, I guess if my life depended on it or my life.
Well, I don't know. Lead bits are pretty simple to do. I mean, once you get the picking, the technique of picking and moving your hands around and seeing what kind of like, there's, because it's all patterns.
True.
Music is all patterns. You know what I mean? So it's like you after a minute of kind of picking an instrument up, you can go, oh, okay, right, this is how the scales are on this. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. And I get that. And I'll tell you, I don't play this, and bear with my audio here a little bit, bro. But when I first heard this shit, you hear that?
Yeah. Mobb Deep, Timeless.
Dude, when I heard this, I was like, this motherfucker here. I didn't even know what to say about that, man.
No, I appreciate
dude,
it. Yeah.
That was my real introduction to you, man. Like that was the shit to me. Cause I was like, I thought to myself, there's no one who's gonna be able to do Mobb Deep better than Havoc, or I'll say Alchemist. I got to give Alchemist his too, because
yeah, of course.
but then
ledge.
When you dropped that was just bananas. So talk about that record. Talk about linking up with Mobb Deep, because you were doing joints before that, I know too. But talk about that.
Yeah. So I linked up with P after he came home. I did a tape with Tony Yayo, or like 70% of a tape with Tony Yayo, called El Chapo, and that came out around the time that he came home, and he was working out to basically, he loved like one of the songs that I did on there, and so I've been hearing through the grapevine that he like really wanted me to come through and like work with him, and I had a situation in New York where I went out and got completely drunk with a friend of mine, and I was looking after him, and I left my wallet, which had my my passport and everything in the taxi. And the next day, I was like feeling so shitty. I was like, what am I gonna do? I didn't have any money on me. I had what, $20 or something in my pocket, and I went to go link up with my boy Ronin in at the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival, and I bumped into my boy Lord Nez, and Lord Nez was like, oh, I'm going to the studio, like to see P after this, to Prodigy Studio, the infamous studios, and he was like, yeah, do you want to come? Because like he really wants you to go, like whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. So I went along, and that rest was history, man. The first, I literally played 3 beats. He recorded all 3 of them. And then I was like over there basically every day for, a couple weeks anyway.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know, we kept the relationship alive, and I kept sending him stuff, and he was like working on it. They were working on the actually the first joint that I played was the ended up being Dead Man's Shoes, which was on Black Cocaine EP. And then the following Mobb Deep album that they worked on, that was what Timeless was on. And actually, there's a track floating about. It's not floating about. There's a track I got sitting here, which is a demo that didn't make it, which is another joint I did,
All right.
which is
Well,
also
I mean,
fire.
I'm sure it's crazy because I'll tell you what I was wondering too. Why isn't that because that Mobb Deep joint used to stream, at least on Spotify,
Yeah,
and I don't know what happened, but it's no longer there. You
I
know how
think
that
there's.
shit goes.
Yeah. Well, I do know that the family had, I'm not to get into the politics, but there was some sort of issues amongst previous management and the family and stuff, and it's getting worked out anyway. So all the Prodigy's albums should be back up again, and I think that stuff should be back up again pretty soon. I think it's actually kind of been, I think it's been sorted already. So I don't know, in the next few months you should probably see that again. It's weird because I was thinking about the Prodigy's last album and the times we're living in right now. It's like.
Jeez.
It's like he's these are that would be the anthems for right now. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean,
The Hegelian dialectic.
dude. I mean, that's what I'm saying. He was, and that's what I always liked about Mobb Deep is they always did them. And my production partner Brent, who you met when we were out at NAMM, we were talking about. We talk about a lot of times about how Mobb Deep was. When the West Coast was on their thing and when Pac was going hard, Mobb Deep was really one of the few groups that, were like, man, fuck y'all. We rep the East. This is us, and we're gonna go at you.
Yeah.
And and they don't get, in my opinion, having it, you don't get enough credit, for the stance they took and the consistency.
I think they changed the soundscape a lot, man. I mean, they came along and just had this crazily dark kind of sound, and I feel like even now, I can hear generations on influence in like even trap music from the stuff that they were doing in some ways. Not to say that the trap dudes are like were listening to that, but I mean like.
Right.
That would it feels like that wouldn't exist had that not have come along at some point. You know what I mean? Had Mobb Deep not been around.
I mean, it's true. Because I was texting. I'm trying to get Showbiz on from Showbiz and AG. I'm trying to get him on live.
Of course, yeah. Show's a legend.
Oh my God, Showbiz is bananas. And so and I asked him. I said, man, what are you listening to? He's like, those early Mobb Deep albums. I was just like, what do you say? It's like, It's kind of like that's the ace right there. And I go back to those albums and they stand up well, and they just really carved out a great niche. And
it's timeless.
Yeah.
It's timeless. They've done a lot. They've done a lot of classics. I mean, I even love there's tracks on every album they've done that I like. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Everybody always cites those first. Hell on Earth and Hell on Earth, Murder Music and the Infamous. But there's. I feel like even like HNIC 1 and 2 are so criminally slept on too. Those two albums are so crazy.
But that's what I'm saying. When Alchemist gets into the fold too, I mean the stuff they start putting together.
And Sid Rome's as well on the second one, man.
Oh my gosh.
They killed that. Yeah.
Look at you citing Sid Rome's, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Shout to them. Yep.
Oh my gosh. That is good call on that Sid Rome stuff. So
okay,
so we're at Mobb Deep. Take us over to G Unit, because it sounds like, and I was checking everything out. Of course, you mentioned the Yayo stuff, but talk about how that relationship started to foster.
What? Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like the MySpace days. But like I was hugely like a massive G Unit fan. Like that was like my favorite shit. I loved all them tapes they were doing, and I don't know. I guess somehow I saw Sha Money obviously did those producer conventions, the One Stop Shop, and I saw M Phases, who I remembered from being on the same forums years ago, and I saw him win the beat battle at one of them. So I thought, they saw that there was going to be another one. I was like, oh, gotta go to that. And I guess in one way or another, I was just trying my hardest to get on some G Unit albums. You know what I mean? Going there, sending all the affiliates messages on MySpace. You know what I mean? God knows where else up. And
Yeah.
yeah, eventually, I guess this dude Strike Sinatra basically got in contact with me, and I don't actually know how he heard of me, but somehow he heard the beats on my MySpace, and he was kind of rolling with Yayo at the time, and so was my boy Do Pesci, and yeah, I don't know, like they just fucked with the music heavy, and at the time I was kind of in a bit of a dark place, so all of that music, if you go back to it, it's all like really like
Yeah,
overly
man.
like overly aggressive and
Oh, it's hard body music, but it's not something. I mean, if you're going through some dark times, that's not something I'm gonna look to get myself out of those dark times, though. Like
yeah.
yeah, like you're.
Well, yeah. The expression, what I was expressing at that time was anger, anyway. So I kind of like, I guess, yeah. So the Yayo did that tape, and then I was in New York for like a year in 2011, and I got introduced to Lloyd Banks by Doe and Germ, and we then forged the relationship and did a lot of we'd go over there and play beats, and kind of created the whole SOI thing, which was which now is just me and Germ, but previously it was Do Pesci, Germ, and Jay Bombay.
Sure. Okay.
Shout to them.
Yeah, I was
So yeah.
wondering where the whole spread, because that's spread of infection, right? Isn't that with the?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's where the whole genesis of that came from. During that.
Yes. Yeah. We were pretty much doing the majority of the production on those Lloyd Banks tapes, and yeah, man, we all got on really well, so and our sounds kind of worked together, so we just decided to join forces and go hard like that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and I mean that's another artist too. Is I think Banks is someone who gets overlooked too much,
Yeah.
And how dope he really is. I mean, he's he's kind of got it's a monotone voice, but he's slick with the wordplay.
He's nice, bro. He's dead
Right.
nice. He's definitely nice. I kind of wish that he, rather than putting them tapes out as free downloads, he would have just put them out as official albums and stuff, because I feel like they probably would have lasted longer in the zeitgeist, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I feel like that's why he slept on, is because he hasn't put an album out in a minute. You know what I mean? Well, those albums could have been albums. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's what a lot of and it's no knock. East Coast, a lot of East Coast artists, man, they were putting out so much good music for free that the albums, when the albums came out, they were a bit lackluster, and then you're trying to charge for a commodity that you gave away
exactly.
for free.
But the tapes were like fucking amazing. Yeah.
Yes, and they're free.
Yeah, crazy to me.
So
I feel like everybody in that era was kind of doing that, though.
Everyone started doing it
because there was no politics. There was no politics. That's why people were doing that. They knew that they couldn't clear certain samples, and they weren't going to be able to put certain things out, so they just put the things out for free.
Well, yeah, and I think that
you know what I mean.
And yeah, I totally do, because it's another conversation we have a lot. Is I think that kind of cannibalized the music too, where you're putting you can only put out so much free music and then go back and charge for a later product.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
And I think that I think that's kind of trickled down for the last decade and a half. So I know exactly.
I think people are starting to put things out. They're putting things out again on. I mean, Spotify is a bit more official than. I mean, no disrespect to that Piff, but it's more official than like that Piff. You know what I mean?
Hey man, I like Dat Piff, man. You know, back in, you know, oh my God, whenever Dat Piff first hit, I'm like, I mean, there was just a lot of good music on Dat Piff.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but yes, as far as officialdom, yeah, I kind of gotta give it to Spotify on that one. But so around
Yeah,
that
for
time,
sure.
so talk about Buddha and Grams. You know, talk about how you linked up with these guys, because these are two guys in the production game, in my opinion, that don't get enough credit either. These guys are fucking dope.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're great people, man. Shit, how did I link up with them? Well, I started doing my trips in 2008, and I guess after I did the One Stop Shop, Grans DM'd me on Twitter and was like, "Oh, I'll come and link you, and let's like make some music or whatever." And I didn't really know anything about them at the time, and I know we just got on so well that I mean, they just became my brothers over time. And you know, initially, you know, we were just linking up and cooking up beats and stuff, and you know, bullshitting, drinking, and yeah, eventually we just ended up getting a bunch of placements together, and you know, it's dope. It worked naturally, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, it just
previous to that, I don't think I'd ever like really collaborated on beats before, you know what I mean? So to like put me like to get me to be like to do the music, you know what I mean, on joints.
yeah. But
And
now
not just do it all myself.
But it seems like, though, bro, ever since the Buddha and Grands, I mean, specifically on that, well, around that time, it seems like collaborating, like you're not shying away from collaborating at all.
No, not at all. No.
And so
But
talk about that, because I think a lot of people want 100% of the pie. And
yeah,
you know,
well, I mean, I think I got a little bit disillusioned with things after I had that year in 2011 in New York. Like things were going well for me, but like monetarily, they weren't really going that well. And I was, like I said, I was also in a bit of a weird place mentally. You know what I mean? I won't go into that, but like I kind of like, it was nice to not have the pressure of like having to finish things, you know what I mean? And it was nice to kind of have like that camaraderie where, you know, you're winning with people, you know what I mean? You're winning with your brothers type thing, you know what I mean? It's nice to be a part of something, because you know, making beats by yourself, it can be boring, you know what I mean? Especially being the way that I was making music. I was all the way in the UK, and I was making, you know, stockpiling beats and then coming to the States and then playing them for people, and you know, doing things over email and stuff like that. And it just it doesn't, you know, it just didn't feel like I was really part of anything. It just felt like I was just randomly, you know what I mean, you're sending music into space and then maybe one comes back as a song.
yeah.
But it's great. Collaboration is dope, man. I think what's dope about it is, you know, collectively your networks reach a lot further than it does by yourself, and you can get into places that you couldn't necessarily get by yourself. You know what I mean? So it means that the chances of getting placements and, you know, getting records with people is like double. You know, is double, if not more. You know what I mean? So and creatively, it's just nice also to not have the pressure of like, you know, you could just I could do the drums on a record, or I can do the sample on a record. I can just do whatever I want to do. I don't have to worry about like, you know, like where is it gonna go? Somebody else can worry about that, or I can hear something else that somebody else did and go, oh wow, that really inspires me. I need to put a kick in the snare on it, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. So now, would you recommend for, you know, producers that are coming up or out or wherever, really? So I mean, you would absolutely recommend, hey, just collaborate, get on the record.
Yeah, it's where it's at, man. I mean, It's a good way. It's just a good way to get around. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Especially when you're seeing like the credits on some of these records, it's like 4 producers on a record or something. It does water it down a bit on the business side sometimes, but then like if it's with your friends or it's with it's whatever, it gets your name out there. Who really cares? You know,
that's true. And I'll tell you, another one. Let me play this. Another one of my favorite collabs that you and Buddha and Grands did was this right here. It's coming. It's coming, baby.
I feel like I know which one it's gonna be.
Do you though?
Maybe.
Come on.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was gonna be. Yeah, Jada and Nip. Yep.
Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle, baby.
Yeah. You want to hear a funny story about that? That was actually also meant to be on Nipsey's album. They were meant to do 2 different versions. There's meant to be one that was meant to be on Nipsey's album, and then one was meant to be on Jada's album. Somehow I don't know why, but it just ended up being on Nips on Jada's shit. But yeah, dude, I love that one too.
I can't tell you how many times I've listened to that song, man. It's like, it's just everybody on the record kills it. Neo's killing it. Jada's killing it. Of course, Nip's killing it. So, just what went into the creation of that song?
Actually, it was a pretty quick beat. I'd even forgotten about it. I made it with me and Grimes were sat in the studio, and I was just messing around with his contact. I think what happened actually is he put the drums down. Originally there was a break in it, and then yeah, I was just messing around with contact. It's really simple actually. It's like I think it's like LA scoring strings or something like that, and then
okay.
and then the Rickenbacker or something like that. Maybe it isn't. I think it's scoring strings. It's like it's real simple though. It's like and a organ chord.
That's it.
That's it.
I completely. But it doesn't sound. I mean, it just sounds lush, man. And the drums are crazy on that record.
Yeah. No, Grand's killed that shit, man, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, shit, he killed that. But you were telling me too a while back. You're still an Ableton guy, right?
Yeah. Actually, Grand's was the guy that got me into Ableton, and I think he also got Frank Dukes into Ableton too.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was originally on Cool Edit for the first Cool Edit and then Audition.
Okay.
And then it came to a point where they like updated Audition where it wasn't good anymore. Like it wasn't the same program anymore.
Sure.
And I just literally got to a point where I just couldn't make beats on it anymore. So I ended up just because I was already messing around with Ableton when I was at Granz's. I just ended up getting that, and then shit. It's been a learning curve. Like maybe the first 2 years of that, I really was struggling, but I was just making samples at that point because I couldn't get my drums to knock on it, and then eventually I found a knack for it, and now I can get around it pretty easy.
Yeah, well, whatever you're doing, keep doing, man, because it sounds really good. Because you're not even using, and for like drums, you're not even using. I know we talked about this before.
Yeah,
you're just using the MIDI controller still. You're not even using pads, right?
Nah. I don't think there's any difference anyway, man. I know everyone's likes to be like, oh yeah, pads. I feel like you can do exactly the same thing on the actual keyboard.
Yeah,
finger drumming is finger drumming.
Yeah, I remember years ago, it was like somebody told me, they're like, well, Spank, they don't, you don't play drums with keys. And I'm thinking, technically, you don't play drums with pads either. But, I mean, I guess everybody has their preference, their interpretation. And because you're using the drum racks out of Ableton, right?
Yes, yeah. Sometimes I draw them in too, you know what I mean? I don't always, sometimes I just, drop them on the page and then kind of get them off, you know what I mean? It depends. Every beat's different. I like to just experiment and see what sounds good, you know what I mean?
No, that makes sense.
But yeah, the drum track, the drum rack. Sorry, shit. The simpler, whatever. You know what I mean?
No, I mean
That's
that's hot. So now, yeah, I'm not gonna play everything tonight. I easily would want to, but I'll tell you another record too, man. Is or records is you teaming up with Dave East. Man, the
yeah,
stuff that you're doing with Dave East and have done, super dope, man.
yeah. I mean, that also happened through Buddha and Grands. I mean, they were messing with East real early on. In fact, the first trip that I ever made to LA, like on some business shit, was with Buddha and Grands, and we had a Airbnb in Hollywood. And that's the first time I ever heard East, and I was like, yeah, I knew that guy was gonna be something.
Okay.
So from then, I was like, yo, please, I need to do some stuff with him, and we actually got a bunch of stuff that has never come out. He record, anybody that knows him knows he records a lot of stuff,
Yeah, he
and
seems pretty prolific.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, bro, like yeah, just and that last joint that came out, the one with Max B, it was originally like a solo joint, and it was meant to be like a 2/2 joint. Mike Cuz was meant to do another part of it, and then I was meant to do the other half,
Okay.
and then he got Max B on it, so that was dope, man.
No,
Max B was another one of my favorites, but like 10 years ago,
absolutely,
maybe
dude.
longer than 10 years ago. Shit, like what? Time flies. 2007,
I'm
all
gonna go
that, them
longer
sort of
than
times. Yeah,
yeah. I'm gonna go a
yeah,
little longer than 10, but
yeah.
yeah. No, Max B is dope. All right, man. I'm getting to the point where we gotta talk about the record. All right.
Right,
So talk about hooking up with Jay-Z and Beyonce for that Carter album.
right. I mean, shit. It's crazy. Yeah, like I just came out of nowhere. I didn't expect it to. I didn't really expect to have it. You know what I'm saying? So I'd like signed a management deal, pretty fresh, um, in 2017, and yeah, 2017 was kind of a bit of a crazy year, because I had all sorts of things happen where with my green card, I wasn't sure whether I was going to get the green card,
Oh man.
and I had a moment where like I just was mad prolific for like 3 weeks or something, and that idea was made during one of those times. That during that time where I was like super prolific, and I was just like, oh, I didn't think I was going to be able to move, and I sent it to my manager, and my manager ended up sending it out, and then 6 months on, like probably a few months after that, I found out that I had been approved for the green card. I moved over, and then like 6 months in, call from Cool and Dre hits me, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Yeah, I need the stems for this track. It's for somebody big, but I don't want to. I'm not going to tell you who it is."
Right.
And then I don't know, like probably like a month after that, they're like, "Yeah, it's being considered for the album." And yeah, it was a great feeling, man. It was like maybe a week before my birthday as well. So it
Wow.
was crazy. Yeah.
No, I mean that because I mean like that's just the culmination of so much, so many years, grind,
Mm.
building, plateau, hit a new plateau, hit a new plateau. So, I mean, so what have you seen since from that record? What have you seen more work? Are you seeing more just attention
I
on your
mean,
name? How's that worked out?
honestly, things have. Honestly, it wouldn't necessarily completely be from that record, but a lot of it's from
No.
being out here and being visible, being a face, and kind of being in sessions with different people, and but yeah, it definitely opened doors, man. It definitely opened doors. It opened doors on the industry side, where people are kind of more taking me more seriously than they were previously. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. No,
Um,
for sure.
but I mean, I can't just attribute it strictly to that. Part of it also comes from being out here, and
Oh.
being available for sessions, and people introduce, because where I was living previously, I lived in Birmingham for a little minute. There's not really a huge amount of stuff going on there. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you know, you have to go to London. But the UK scene is very cliquey, and it's just difficult to kind of. It's very like, you know, everyone stays in their section.
Yeah,
So
right.
I had this thing where I was kind of being like typecast as, you know, oh, I'm the guy that makes like underground hip hop music. You know what I mean? Even though some of the beats that I was making were eligible for stuff that was on, you know, majors and stuff. So uh, it's and that obviously changes the minute you're out here. You know, like, and on the other side of things, you know, like when you're the guy in the UK that's sending beats to the people in the States, it's like, oh, but he's over there. Oh, we're not taking that seriously. But now that I'm out here, people take me seriously. Do you know what I mean? So that's great.
No, I mean exactly. And now, okay, so I saw too, and this is what kind of tripped me out too when you said the whatchamacallit over there. This guy over was, bro, it's like Party Next Door. How did that record come on?
It's another super random one. I thought
we can't just do Prodigy and Mobb Deep tonight, baby. We got
no, bro. I'm super proud of that. I'm super proud of that. But it's also another one where, sorry, man, some kids have they've kicked a ball up here.
Hey, I'm glad kids are outside playing.
Okay. Yeah, they were just shouting at me. Anyway, you know, I see me get violent here. No, I'm not joking.
Hey, nice.
Nah,
nice.
Yeah, how did that happen? It's the same kind of random way, man. I mean, I'll be doing. A lot of people don't know that I make compositions too, like everybody else does, and everybody else seems to do right now. But I've never put out a composition pack because I've been trying to kind of stay a little bit exclusive with it, you know. And so basically, that was also one of those samples from that same pack, actually, weirdly, from 2 years ago. And shit, OZ was trying to figure out, because I hadn't labeled it properly. OZ was trying to figure out who'd done it for the longest amount of time, and they'd hit like G Coop about it, and Coop was like, I have no idea. They hit Mike about it. Mike hit me and was like, hey, yeah, is this your sample? I'm like, yep. and then a week later it comes out. But it's dope, man, because, you know, shout out to Party Next Door's team and stuff. That's opened doors there with them, and, you know, it's meant that I've managed to, you know, we've managed to kind of, same with OZ, you know what I mean? Shout out to OZ. And, you know, we're working on more stuff, so it's dope.
Because the record's hot, man. Like, it's you know, let's face it, man. Anytime you go into something and you're going to, like, oh, because I'm like, let me look this up. Let me listen to this record. So,
Right,
you know, you go in and I'm thinking of all the joints you've done. So I'm like, what am I going to hear? And then when I heard the record, and I recommend everybody check out that Party Next Door joint. I would never have known it to be you. I mean, it really shows like your versatility, bro.
I think a lot of people don't really know. The thing is that, like, you know, I'll come from all of the grimy kind of music, but I think a lot of people don't know that I'm kind of like, my taste in music is like, I really quite enjoy like mainstream stuff as well. And so a lot of, like, actually almost the majority of the stuff that I make at the moment is that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's nice to have some stuff like that come out, because I feel like, again, I'm starting to get kind of typecast as that dude, you know, like, that makes that kind of, you know what I mean? Being that I kind of moved away from it with Salute and all that kind of stuff, and then like went back to it with Griselda and everything. Do you know what I mean?
You really did. I mean, we're gonna have to go back, because I mean, we gotta definitely touch on that. I mean, okay, shout out to Party Next Door, because I'm looking at the time too. I still gotta get to sound design tonight. But let's,
for sure. I just saw my batteries going down to like low, so I'm just walking to my apartment.
Hey. Well, that's all right. So IG's patience is going down the low too. So hopefully, you know, we'll plan accordingly. But yeah, talk about the Griselda stuff, man. That, you know, you're working with Derringer, you're working with you know, all the boys over there. It sounds fantastic. Talk about that relationship.
I mean, the whole situation with Derringer and Griselda, basically, when they got signed to Shady, it kind of was obvious that they, you know, were gonna have to get somebody to make the music, because, like, you know, the budget wasn't, you know, they didn't want to pay to clear samples. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it was up in the air about like who was gonna do it, and you know, a few names got put out there, but I kind of I'd already kind of forged a relationship with Derringer, and we had just been I'd been sending him stuff here and there, and shit, when it came time to do the album last year, you know, it was like it was a obvious choice, because me and Derringer had already been hanging out, we'd already been doing stuff, and you know, he's actually, you know what I mean, that would be my friend, even if we weren't, you know what I mean, making
Right.
music together, you know what I'm saying? So you know, it just made sense. It made sense. You know
So
what I mean?
what was your role in the creation process then?
Well, I mean, it was pretty collaborative. But yeah, I'm basically the samples on it for the most part, you know, the
Right.
samples on the record. I did most of the sound design on it. But there are beats on there that I mean, all of the interludes are me, basically. But yeah, no, there are records also where I did a bit of drum work on there too. You know, it was very collaborative. We literally sat with each other making the beats together. Do you know what I mean? But essentially, I'm the samples on the records. You know what I mean?
Okay. And that's kind of what I thought. I mean, not like
Yeah.
you couldn't do all the programming and everything too, of course.
Yeah.
You know, I know that, you know, sound design has been a big deal. So I'm going to flash this up right quick. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Of course.
So,
Shameless
the
plug.
reason I'm doing that is I think so many of us in the sound design game. Oh, and by the way, for everybody tuning in, head over to 12bitsoul.com. Enter your email to win the Beat Butcher's steroid pack and our Lo-Fi Volume 1. We're going to be holding the raffle or the giveaway on Monday the 22nd. So, public service announcement done. I think a lot of us actually started off with, you know, going through Drum Broker. I mean, that's how we met you. I mean, that's how.
For sure,
you know,
that's how we know each other. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, talk about the sound design game, dude, because that's something where I don't think people understand the depth of your catalog with this.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, man, it all came out of a necessity to try and make some bread on the side, you know, because music didn't always until recently completely pay the bills. So when Alco had interviewed me a few years ago for he had a blog, and I don't know, like he said he was going to start a site, and we ended up getting on, and I think I don't know if I was the first guy on there, but I was definitely one of the first few. I think you guys were on there too, right? Early on.
Yeah, we were on there. You know, Illmind was so ahead of the curve with sound design and whatnot. So he was definitely there. MSX was there.
I mean, the whole sound design thing, I think it happened naturally because it was like, okay, cool. I was trying to make samples, or I was heavily doing a lot of the music on a lot of the, you know, stuff with Buddha and Grands, and you know, me and V-Don were doing stuff together, and it just kind of happened naturally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So, but yeah, and it merged basically with the drum kits, basically. So, yeah, man. That's sorry, bro.
I mean, no, I totally get it. So of all the joints you've done, what are, like, you know, your top, you know, 2 or 3 favorite kits that you've got? Just, you know,
kits
for people out there that are your favorites.
I mean, the best selling one so far is really the Filth. That's the one that's just dropped. I'm about to do Filth Volume 2 next month, and
I am just cracking. You can celebrate, man. I saw you post that. So he mentioned something about the Filth in one of the comments earlier. So
yeah. Shout to everybody that's bought that. I mean, that's done really, really well. My record in sales was previously with Protein Volume 2,
Right.
and that was pretty high. But this first month of this was, I was like, what? Holy shit! I'm onto
Hey.
something with this one. So, yeah, that's. I mean, what's my favorite ones? Yeah, probably like, Dangerous Fireworks 2 and probably Filth. I guess those
Okay.
two.
Now, what's the deal
Um,
with Filth? Because Filth, I mean, I like the artwork on it. I haven't had a chance to check
yeah.
it out, but what's Filth all about?
Yeah. So I kind of, obviously I just done the we just done the Griselda album, and I just realized there's not really anybody putting any kit. Everybody's putting kits out. They're either putting composition packs out, or they're putting
Yes.
packs that are kind of more trap based and mainstream. And I just thought, you know what? Why not just do a pack that's really just that super grimy shit? I know how to do that with my eyes closed. You know what I mean? So I just thought, okay, cool. Well, Griselda thing just came out. Why don't I make a pack that sounds like some shit, you can make Griselda beats with? You know what I mean?
I mean, it makes sense,
Yeah, yeah. And
capitalize on the synergy.
I guess the snippets have really helped with that, because I didn't I literally just spent like a couple of days making beats like that, and then deconstructed them and put them in a folder basically. But it's not set up like one of those kind of kits where everything's a construction kit. I put everything in separate folders that are not, it's not like a construction kit, but it's, things can be, everything sort of works together because it's all of that kind of sounds, you know what I mean? So
Yes.
yeah, man.
No, and that's what's dope. So when can people expect to hear that? When's it hitting the shelves, the digital shelves, if it will?
Oh, volume 2?
Yeah.
I haven't actually started it yet, but I'm gonna drop it next month, I think.
All right. I mean, yeah, that's good. I'm glad you're honest. So
yeah, I mean, it doesn't take that long to make a kit. Let's be honest. I know you know.
Oh yeah.
And I also like to just be in the energy for it, because otherwise it doesn't come out good.
No, you know what?
I mean?
That's
If I'm
the thing.
forcing it.
Like that's kind of how we get. We were on the squad. We were on a call, and we are kind of laughing about how, like, with a lot of projects, it'd be great if there was no procrastination involved, but it just seems like as the clock ticks harder, the everything starts to really gel and come together. So that's why I was laughing. I wasn't laughing so much at you, but I'm laughing at myself because boy, we do the same thing.
I like to feel free, man. I like to have the just like the world is your oyster kind of feeling. I don't like to be like, like I do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Be like, I have to do it this way, and you know what I'm saying? I just kind of like, I go with the flow, wait for a day where I feel like, yeah, this is cool, and then all right, cool, let's get the artwork together, and we'll put it out. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and I mean that natural, and obviously by the people, in their comments I'm reading, and obviously by sales, it obviously sounds like it's working, bro. So just
I was really surprised, man, because it could have gone either way, man. I was really like, oh shit, are people gonna just think this is a corny idea, bro? But we're living in a time though where I feel like, if you find that opening in the market and you have a buzz for a certain thing, people want to hear that. They really want to hear that from you. So I put that out like that. But it's crazy because with quarantine, I know a lot of people that have been in regular jobs that have not been doing too well and being furloughed and stuff. But like, this has been really quite lucrative for me, man. Not just on the kits and stuff. So I feel blessed, man. It feels great to be out here and just be doing stuff. You know what I mean? Got a couple of moves on the way and stuff. So yeah.
No, that is a blessing. So, all right, man. It's kind of wrapping up. Is there anything we didn't touch on that you want to touch on? Because we covered a lot of bases tonight too, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really think off the top of my head. You know what I mean? Obviously, be on the lookout for Filth Volume 2. That's probably going to drop the end of July, if not the beginning of August. And I'll have a little promo video that goes along with that, giving people a little insight into my creative process. Shit, yeah. Other than that, I've got a lot of stuff, a lot of placements coming, a lot of new music coming.
Hey,
all over the place, bro.
hey, man. You know what? I can speak for myself and probably others too. I know we'll be checking out, man. So, like I said, bro, appreciate the
Appreciate that.
time. And until next time, bro, you take it easy. All right, be safe out there, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, man.
All right, man. Talk soon.
Yes, sir.
All right.
A bit, bro. Peace.